It's been a few months since Christmas, and I'm just now getting around to telling the story of what happened on Christmas. My family and I decided to celebrate the holiday not at home, but at my father-in-law's house. We thought it would be more fun, and relatives were coming from another city, so it promised to be a big, noisy gathering. My wife, children, and I arrived at my father-in-law's house early to help with the preparations. Everything went as usual. We decorated the house, put up the Christmas tree, and prepared treats. Soon the relatives began to arrive, and the house was quickly filled with laughter, conversation, and the anticipation of the holiday. After greeting everyone, we all sat down at the table. My father-in-law had clearly gone all out, setting a table with everything you could want, all with a festive Christmas theme. The conversation was lively and, as is often the case in such gatherings, people became closer and less inhibited. Of course, there was a wide variety of drinks from champagne to cognac to keep the spirits up. I vividly remember the fireworks, though I can't remember everything. After dinner, we all went outside to watch the fireworks, then came back in, frozen and warmed up with a little more to drink. As the celebration reached its climax, the evening continued with more toasts and jokes. Some of us decided to move to the kitchen for a quieter spot to smoke and get a little break from the noise. Of course, smoking was paired with another round of drinks. In this semi-relaxed atmosphere, time seemed to fly by. I was beginning to feel tired after all the festive excitement. I decided to take a short rest to regain my strength. Nearby, I noticed an empty room with a cozy-looking bed, a real salvation at that moment. Without a second thought, I lay down on the bed, expecting just a few minutes of rest. Instead, exhaustion took over and I fell into a deep sleep. I began to regain consciousness much later that night, after all the fun and drinking. Still in a fog of sleep, I instinctively reached for a warm figure beside me, thinking it was my wife. I embraced her with warmth and tenderness, assuming it was her. I thought how nice it was to share this closeness after such a long day. As I became more fully awake, I slowly became aware of my surroundings and realized that I wasn't at home. I was in my father-in-law's house, and next to me was my mother-in-law. Memories from moments before suddenly hit me with a strange mixture of shock and embarrassment. In the fog of my mind, I had mistaken her for my wife. Determined to break the awkward silence, I quietly asked if she was awake. She calmly replied that she was. Trying to collect myself, I said, "I'm going to get a drink of water," hoping to clear my mind. She just nodded and reminded me to hurry, as the guests would be waking up soon. I made my way to the kitchen, gulped down a glass of water, and took a moment to collect my thoughts. I knew I would have to talk to her about this strange, unexpected event at some point. The festivities continued as the house came back to life, filled with the joyful sounds of family, and soon everyone gathered for breakfast. My wife, unaware of anything unusual, joined us, and the party continued seamlessly. At one point, my mother-in-law and I were alone in the kitchen having a quiet smoke. I gathered my courage and asked why she hadn't stopped me that night. Her answer surprised me. She didn't want me to feel embarrassed and said she would do anything to make me feel comfortable. Since that night, things have returned to normal on the surface. We still visit her sometimes, and she acts as if nothing unusual has happened. But in the back of my mind, I know I need to clarify my feelings and have an honest conversation with her. Maybe it's time to sort through this moment, for both of our sakes, and make sure it doesn't affect our family in any way.